I've always believed the heart knows danger before the mind does. Mine told me that the night it skipped stuttered and nearly stopped altogether. The storm had swallowed the city. Thunder rolling like war drums above me as I hurried down the narrow street. My umbrella was useless against the sheets of rain. Water dripped into my shoes, down my collar, into every crack of me. But it wasn't the storm that chilled MIT, was the feeling that someone was there watching. The street was nearly empty. Only the echo of my own footsteps and the hum of flickering street lamps accompanied me. Still, I couldn't shake the weight on the back of my neck. Like eyes were burning holes into my skin. I told myself I was imagining it. That maybe I was just tired. Maybe the storm was messing with my nerves. But then I heard it in another footstep. Not mine. A second set, softer, deliberate. I glanced over my shoulder. Nothing but shadows stretching long and dark across the cracked pavement. My breath quickened. My fingers tightened on the umbrella handle until it creaked. I picked up my pace. The footsteps followed. By the time I reached the alley that cut toward my apartment, my chest was tight, my pulse racing. I shouldn't have gone that way, I knew better. But instinct and fear don't reason. They just move. And so I darted into the alley, praying it would be faster. It wasn't. Halfway down, the air seemed to thicken. The rain stilled, muffled somehow, as if the world itself was holding its breath. That was when a hand shot out from the shadows, cold and rough, clamping down on my arm. I gasped, stumbling, my umbrella clattering to the ground. A man loomed over me, his breath hot, sour, his grip unrelenting. Pretty thing like you shouldn't walk alone at night. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I tried to scream, but his other hand clamped over my mouth. Panic clawed at me, blinding, suffocating. This was it. This was how the story of me ended. Then everything changed. The air shifted, sharper, colder, like the moment before lightning splits the sky. A shadow darker than all the rest detached itself from the wall. For a heartbeat, I thought I'd gone mad. That fear had conjured a nightmare to finish me. But when the attacker stiffened, his grip faltering, I knew I wasn't imagining it. A man stepped forward. Not just a man, something more. His presence filled the alley, swallowing sound, bending the darkness around him. He was tall, broad-shouldered, his coat soaked but clinging like armor. And his eyes. Oh God, his eyes. They glowed faintly, a deep crimson that burned through the storm. He moved too fast for me to follow. One moment my attacker had me pinned. The next he was slammed against the brick wall, choking, feet dangling inches above the ground. The stranger's voice was low, velvety, but sharp enough to cut. This one is not yours. The man whimpered, squirmed, then went utterly still. Not unconscious, frozen. Like every drop of fight had been ripped from him. The stranger dropped him and he crumpled to the ground, gasping like a fish out of water before scrambling away into the storm. Silence fell. The only sound was the pounding of my heart and the rain dripping from rooftops. I pressed against the opposite wall, shaking, unable to breathe, unable to move. And then those crimson eyes turned on me. Every instinct screamed, "Run." But my body refused. His gaze pinned me harder than my attacker's grip ever could. He stepped closer. His movements were graceful, fluid, almost inhuman. His face came into the glow of the streetlight, handsome, carved in sharp lines, lips pale but full. His wet hair clung to his temples, and when he spoke, his voice was both a warning and a promise. You're safe now, but you shouldn't be here. I swallowed hard, my voice trembling when I finally found it. Who are you? He tilted his head, studying me as though I were both a puzzle and a temptation. The one who's been keeping you alive longer than you realize. My pulse thundered. His words made no sense, and yet deep down, a strange part of me believed him. As though my soul recognized something my mind could not, before I could ask more. He turned, vanishing back into the shadows as quickly as he had appeared. For a moment, I wondered if the storm had invented him, if fear had played a cruel trick. But when I bent to pick up my umbrella, my hand shook so violently I could barely grip it. The attacker was gone. The stranger was gone, but his eyes, those impossible, burning eyes, stayed with me. And I knew with a certainty that scared me more than the attack itself that this wouldn't be the last time I saw him. No. Something told me this was only the beginning. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw crimson ones staring back at me through the rain. I told myself it had to be shock, that the attack had scrambled my thoughts, that my mind had invented him. The stranger who appeared like a phantom saved me, then vanished into the storm. But the ache in my chest, the way my skin still tingled where his presence had brushed too close, that wasn't imagination. That was something real, something dangerous. The city woke gray and heavy, the storm's remnants pooling in the streets, but I moved through the day in a daze. My coworkers chattered around me, oblivious, their lives simple and unbroken. I envied them. None of them carried the memory of being trapped in a stranger's gaze so fierce it made your pulse race, and your knees, weak by nightfall, exhaustion won. I returned to my small apartment, locked the door twice, drew the curtains tight, and yet couldn't shake the feeling I wasn't alone. It was past midnight when I saw him again. I had been standing by the window, restless, sipping tea that had long gone cold. Across the street, under the broken glow of a lamppost, a figure stood, still, watching. My breath caught. It was him. The same dark coat, the same broad shoulders, the same aura that made the night bend around him. His eyes weren't glowing now, but I didn't need the crimson fire to know. I could feel it like a thread had tied my heart to his across the street. Every instinct screamed to close the curtains, hide, pretend I hadn't seen him. Instead, I found myself pushing the window open. The cold air rushed in, sharp enough to sting. "Why are you here?" My voice was barely more than a whisper, but somehow he heard. His lips curved into something between a smile and a shadow. He didn't move closer, didn't shout across the street. His voice reached me as if the night carried it straight to my ears. "Because you're not safe." A shiver raced through me. From what? His gaze didn't waver. From men like the one you met, and from others much worse. My heart thundered. "You expect me to believe you're what? Some kind of guardian?" Silence stretched, heavy, unblinking. Then, softly, he said, "I don't expect you to believe anything. But I can't stay away." The words wrapped around me, soft and terrifying all at once. I wanted to demand answers, wanted to slam the window shut. But instead I whispered the question that had haunted me since the alley. "How do you know me?" His eyes darkened, and for the first time he looked almost human. "Because your heart called to me long before your voice did." The words struck like lightning. My throat tightened. My hands trembled around the window frame. No one had ever spoken to me like that, with certainty, with reverence, with hunger that felt both sacred and forbidden. I blinked, and he was gone. The street lay empty, the lamppost buzzing faintly. My pulse hammered. My breath came fast. But I knew I hadn't imagined him. The next days passed in a haze of paranoia and anticipation. Every corner, every shadow, I half expected to see him. And sometimes I thought I did. A glimpse of a dark figure at the edge of the crowd. A flash of red glinting in the night. Never close enough to reach, but never far enough to forget. Then, one evening, he didn't keep his distance. I had been working late, the office empty. When the power flickered and the building fell into darkness, I fumbled for my phone, its flashlight trembling in my hand. The stairwell echoed too loudly with my footsteps. The city outside seemed swallowed whole by night. Halfway home, I felt it again, that presence. Heavy, magnetic. My skin prickled before I even turned. He was there, standing at the end of the street, his figure carved against the lamplight. Watching, waiting. I froze. My voice cracked when I spoke. "If you want to terrify me, it's working." Slowly, he stepped closer. His movements were deliberate, controlled, like every inch of space he crossed was a choice. "I don't want to terrify you. Then why follow me?" My heart hammered, half in fear, half in something I refused to name. His eyes caught the light, and for a fleeting second, they glowed faint crimson again. The sight stole my breath because danger follows you, and I won't let it touch you. The words sank into me deeper than I wanted to admit. My fear twisted into something else: curiosity, longing. A pull I couldn't resist. I took a step closer, reckless, trembling. "Who are you?" For the first time, he let silence fall away. His voice was low, like velvet wrapped in steel. "My name is Adrian." I repeated it softly, the syllables foreign but intoxicating. "Adrian," but the moment my lips shaped it, its expression changed. Pained, almost guilty. "You shouldn't say my name. The more you do, the closer this will drag you into a world you're not ready for." I swallowed hard, my pulse loud in my ears. And if I'm already in it? The night seemed to still around us, every sound swallowed by the tension between us. His jaw tightened, his eyes burned, and for the briefest moment, I thought he might close the distance entirely. But instead, he turned away, his voice a whisper that felt like both a warning and a promise. "Then it's too late." And just like before, he vanished into the shadows, leaving me trembling, breathless, and desperate for more. I tried to convince myself I could live normally again, that if I ignored him, the stranger Adrian would fade back into the shadows where he belonged. But every time I passed the alley where he'd saved me, every time I glanced at the lamppost where he'd stood, I felt the weight of unseen eyes, watching, guarding. The problem wasn't that I feared him. The problem was that I didn't. 3 nights later, the storm returned. Rain lashed the windows of my apartment, and the power flickered, plunging the room into shadows that felt thicker than they should. I had just reached for a candle when I felt its sudden drop in the air. Sharp and biting, the way it always shifted when he was near. I spun toward the window. Adrian stood there on the balcony, though the doors were locked and I lived 3 floors up. My breath caught. How did you?" He raised a hand, his voice smooth but edged with urgency. "You have to leave now." "Excuse me?" My fear sparked into something hotter anger. "You can't just break into my home," and the words died on my lips when the glass shuddered. Not from thunder, but from something inside. A shadow moved across the corner of the room. "No, someone!" Before I could scream, Adrian was already there, faster than thought. One moment he stood by the balcony doors. The next he had the intruder pinned against the wall with impossible strength. I froze. The man, or whatever he was, snarled, his teeth flashing longer, sharper than human. His eyes burned, not crimson like Adrian's, but sickly gold. "You can't keep her," the creature hissed. "She doesn't belong to you." The sound that came from Adrian was low, guttural, nothing human. "She belongs to no one." His voice vibrated through the walls, through my bones. "But if you touch her, you die." The creature lunged, but Adrian's grip snapped with the sound of breaking stone. In seconds, the intruder crumbled into ash, scattering across my floor as if he'd never existed. My hands trembled violently. I pressed against the wall, heart racing, mind screaming that none of this could be real. Yet it was. The ash clung to my floor. The storm rattled the windows. And Adrian stood in the middle of it, breathing hard, his eyes blazing with crimson fire. I swallowed, my voice barely working. "What are you?" For the first time, his gaze softened, and I saw the war inside him. The part that wanted to protect me, and the part that knew the truth would shatter everything. But he didn't lie. "I am a vampire." The words hit like a blade. My chest ached, my stomach dropped, but not with fear, at least not the kind I expected. My instincts screamed danger, but my heart whispered something else entirely. I shook my head, forcing breath into my lungs. "This isn't possible. They're stories, myths." Adrian stepped closer, slowly, like I was fragile glass he might break. "Does this feel like a story to you?" His hand reached out, hovering near mine, not touching, but close enough that the air between us hummed. His skin radiated cold. His breath carried the faintest trace of iron. And those eyes, they pulled at me, demanded I look deeper, demanded I believe. I should have run. I should have screamed, called the police, done anything but stand there trembling in a mix of fear and Want? Why me? My voice cracked. Why do they want me? His jaw tightened. Because they know what you mean to me. The room tilted, my pulse thundering. Mean to you? Adrian, I don't even know you. His eyes darkened. And for a fleeting moment, I thought I saw pain flicker across his face. But I know you. I've watched over you for longer than you realize. I swore I would never let this happen. That I would never let you see me. But the others. His voice dropped to a whisper. They've caught your scent. And now they'll never stop. My knees weakened, a tremor running through me that was more than fear. His words were chains and wings all at once binding me, lifting me. You're my weakness, he admitted, his voice rough, almost broken. And if they know that, they will destroy you to destroy me. The confession sliced through me. Part of me wanted to scream at him for dragging me into this nightmare. But another part deeper, more reclosed at the thought of being his weakness. Adrian stepped closer, his presence overwhelming, his eyes searching mine with a hunger that was more than blood. I should leave, he whispered. I should disappear before this goes too far. But he didn't move. Neither did I. The storm outside roared, lightning carving the sky. But all I felt was the space between us, the pull, the inevitability. My lips parted, my body betraying my fear with longing. His hand lifted, brushing a stray strand of hair from my cheek. His touch was cold, electric, unforgettable. His gaze dropped to my lips for a fraction of a second, and in that heartbeat, the truth hit me harder than any attack ever could. I didn't want him to leave. And that was the most dangerous truth of all. The night after Adrian confessed what he was, I couldn't think of anything else. Every sound, every shadow seemed alive, watching me, waiting. But what haunted me more wasn't the threat of other vampires, it was the way he had looked at me. Like my very existence unraveled everything he'd sworn to control. I told myself I wouldn't see him again, that I couldn't. But when dusk fell, I found myself standing by the window, almost willing him to appear. And he did. Like he had stepped from the storm itself, Adrian was suddenly there on the street. His coat dark as the night, his eyes finding mine instantly. My breath caught. I didn't wave. I didn't speak. I simply opened the door and went to him. The city was quiet, streets slick with rain, the scent of earth heavy in the air. He didn't move as I approached. Only when I was close enough to hear the stillness of his breath did he whisper, "You shouldn't be near me." My heart pounded. "Then why are you here?" His jaw clenched. For a moment, I thought he wouldn't answer. Then, because I can't stop. The honesty in his voice tore through me. My resolve cracked, and I whispered what I shouldn't have. "Neither can I." His eyes darkened, and something inside him snapped. One moment he was still restrained. The next his hand was at my waist, pulling me closer than I'd ever been to anyone. His touch was cold, but the fire it lit in me was unbearable. "Do you have any idea what you're saying?" He rasped, his lips a breath away from mine. "If I cross this line, there's no undoing it." My pulse thundered in my ears, drowning out every warning. "Then don't undo it." His lips crashed onto mine. The world vanished. The night, the danger, the storm, they dissolved under the weight of that kiss. His mouth was cold, desperate, but every brush of his lips sent heat spiraling through me. His hand tangled in my hair, pulling me closer, as if he couldn't stand even an inch between us. I melted into him, drowning in the taste of something I knew was forbidden, something I knew could ruin me. And yet Ty couldn't stop. I didn't want to. When he finally tore himself away, his chest heaved like he was fighting for air he didn't need. His eyes burned, crimson and wild. "You don't understand. They'll smell you on me. They'll know. You've made yourself a target." Before I could answer, a voice sliced through the night. Well, so it's true." I spun, heart racing. From the shadows stepped a woman tall, elegant. her eyes gleaming with the same golden fire as the intruder who had attacked me before. Her smile was cruel, beautiful in its malice. "Adrian the fallen knight," she purred. "Breaking the covenant for a mortal girl." Adrian shifted instantly, pulling me behind him, his body tense as steel. "Leave her out of this." The woman's laughter was like glass breaking. "Out of this. She's in this now. Every hunter, every blood drinker will know. You've doomed her." Her eyes slid to me, and I froze under the weight of her gaze. "Do you even know what he is? What he's done? He's no savior, little one. He's a killer. Always has been." I looked up at Adrian. His face was carved in stone, but his silence told me more than words could. The woman smirked, her fangs flashing. "When the others command, you'll wish you'd never kissed him." Then she vanished into the night, leaving nothing but the echo of her laughter and the chill of dread curling in my chest. I turned to Adrian, my heart pounding with fear and something sharper betrayal. "Is it true?" I whispered. "Have you killed?" His eyes closed, his jaw tight. "Yes." The word was a blade. He reached for me, but I stepped back, trembling. My lips still burned from his kiss. But now my mind screamed at me to run. "To believe her, I killed to survive," he said, his voice rough. "To protect, never for sport, never for cruelty. But if you look at me now and see only a monster, then tell me, and I'll disappear." I shook my head, torn apart by the truth. His kiss still lingered on my lips, his confession burned in my ears. And the woman's warning sliced through both. Danger was no longer a distant shadow. It was here, real, unavoidable, and yet, when I looked at him, my protector, my vampire, my undoing knight couldn't say the words that would send him away, because even if loving him doomed me, I already knew I couldn't stop. I barely slept after the encounter with the golden-eyed woman. Her words echoed through my mind like a curse. He's a killer. Always has been. Adrian didn't deny it. He admitted the truth, and yet my heart wouldn't let me run. Every time I closed my eyes, I remembered the way his lips had claimed mine, desperate and cold, and how, despite the fear, I'd wanted nothing else. But desire was a dangerous distraction. And tonight, danger came to collect. It happened just past midnight. The air changed first dense, metallic, carrying the scent of smoke, though no fire burned. My window rattled, and when I glanced outside, I saw them. Figures in the street, 4, no 5. Their eyes glowed like embers, their smiles sharp with hunger. My stomach dropped. Before I could move, my door burst inward. Adrian stood there, his face carved with fury, his eyes blazing crimson. "They've found you." Fear clamped down on me, stealing my breath. "What do we do?" "You stay behind me." His voice was a growl, low and final. The vampires were inside before I could even blink shadows with teeth. Laughter that froze the blood in my veins. They circled us, hissing, taunting. The woman with the golden eyes stepped forward, her smile cruel. "Adrian," she crooned, "you chose a mortal over eternity. You broke the law. Tonight, you pay." Adrian snarled, placing himself between them and me. His presence radiated power, but the odds were impossible. One lunged. Then another. The room exploded into chaos, shattered glass, overturned furniture, the crack of bone and hiss of fury. Adrian fought like a storm, faster than sight, stronger than reason. But there were too many. I screamed as one vampire slipped past him, lunging straight for me. Time fractured. I saw fangs, I smelled blood, I felt terror clawing at my throat. Then Adrian was there, slamming the creature into the wall so hard it shattered. But not before the fangs grazed my shoulder. Fire burned through me, pain searing. No. Adrian's roar shook the air. He crushed the attacker into dust, then whirled on the others. Crimson light blazing in his eyes like an inferno. The golden-eyed woman laughed. "It's too late. She's tasted." My knees buckled. I pressed a hand to my shoulder, blood warm and slick against my skin. But the burn beneath it, that was worse. Like something inside me had been poisoned, Adrian caught me before I fell. His arms were iron, his face stricken with horror. "You're hurt." His voice broke. "The venom will spread. It will kill you." Panic clawed at me. What do I do?" His eyes met mine, crimson fire and devastation all at once. "You have two choices. Let it take you." His throat worked, as if the words themselves tortured him. "Or let me turn you." The world stopped. Turn me. Become like him. Vampire. Eternal darkness. No sun, no return. My breath hitched, my body trembling. Behind us, the others hissed, circling, waiting for my choice. The golden-eyed woman's smirk widened. "Do it, Adrian. Damn her soul like you damned your own." Adrian's hand cupped my cheek, his touch trembling though his body was steel. "I swore I'd never curse you with what I am. But if I don't, you'll die." His voice cracked. "And I can't lose you." Tears blurred my vision. My heart pounded with terror and something stronger love. Fierce, reckless, impossible love. I thought of every moment the way he appeared in the alley when no one else would. The way he stood between me and death without hesitation. The way his kiss had felt like both a sin and salvation. And I knew. I pressed my bloodied hand to his chest. "Do it." For a heartbeat, pain and relief warred in his eyes. Then his lips touched mine once, more soft, desperate as if it was goodbye. When he pulled back, his fangs gleamed. "Forgive me," he whispered. His bite was fire and ice, agony and ecstasy. My blood surged. My heart faltered. My vision exploded with light and dark all at once. I clutched him, gasping, caught between death and forever. Around us, the golden-eyed woman shrieked with fury. No, she was supposed to die. But Adrian ignored her. His arms held me tight, his lips at my throat, his entire body trembling with the violence of what he'd done. When he finally pulled back, crimson stained his mouth. And my body went limp in his arms. The last thing I saw before the darkness claimed me was Adrian's face, fierce, broken, and filled with a love so wild it terrified me. Then everything went black, darkness, at first. It was endless. Heavy, I floated in it, weightless and silent. As though I had been pulled beneath an ocean with no surface. I thought it was death, but then I heard his voice. "Come back to me, Adrian." His words cut through the void, warm against the cold. And with that warmth came sensation, first the burn in my veins. Then the rush of blood that wasn't mine. Then a hunger so sharp it sliced through my soul. My body shuddered and I opened my eyes. The world wasn't the same. Every detail was vivid. Blindingly sharp the flicker of a candle on the broken floorboards. The heartbeat of an enemy still lurking beyond the wall. The taste of iron still on my tongue. And Adrian, kneeling before me, his eyes wide and tormented, his hands cradling me as though I were the only fragile thing in existence. "You live," he breathed. I touched my lips, trembling. I remembered his bite, his blood, the fire that consumed me. My voice was raw, unfamiliar. "What am I?" His gaze softened, breaking with sorrow and reverence. "You're mine forever." The truth struck hard. I wasn't human anymore. The warmth of mortality was gone, replaced by a cold fire that thrummed through my veins. Fear coiled inside me, but so did something else. Power. Before I could speak, the sound of movement tore our moment apart. The golden-eyed woman stepped forward, fury twisting her perfect face. Her allies circled, hissing, broken but not defeated. "You've cursed her, Adrian," she spat. "Now she belongs to us." "No," I said before Adrian could answer. My voice was low, dangerous new. I rose to my feet, and for the first time, I felt what it meant to stand as something more than human. Stronger, sharper, hungry. Adrian looked at me with both awe and fear. But his hand found mine, fingers lacing tight. We stood together, they lunged. This time I didn't hide behind him. I fought. Every instinct guided me, every movement sharper than thought. One came for me, fangs bared I caught him by the throat, my strength startling even myself, and hurled him across the room. Another tried to flank Adrian. I was there before he could strike, my claws tearing through shadow. The hunger raged inside me, but I wielded it, controlled it. Together, Adrian and I were unstoppable. He fought like the storm he was, and I matched him. Our movements like two halves of the same fury dot at last. It was only her, the golden-eyed woman, seething, desperate. She looked at me with hatred and triumph all at once. "You think you've won?" she hissed. "You're bound to him now. A prisoner in eternity. You'll hate him for it." I stepped forward, my voice steady, though my body still trembled with the change. "You're wrong. He didn't damn me. He saved me. And he loved me enough to let me choose." Her sneer faltered, just for a moment. Then Adrian moved faster than lightning, and in a blur of crimson light, she was dust. Silence fell. The house was ruins around us, the night air sharp with the scent of smoke and blood. My chest heaved, though I didn't need breath anymore. I turned to Adrian, and for the first time I saw him without fear clouding my sight. He was beautiful in his brokenness. His jaw tight with restraint, his eyes softer now, searching me for regret. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I swore I'd never make you like me." I reached up, touching his face. His skin was cool beneath my fingertips, but his gaze burned hotter than fire. "You didn't make me. You gave me a choice, and I chose you." His arms wrapped around me, crushing me to him. And for the first time since that night in the alley, I didn't feel fragile or lost. I felt whole. We stood there in the ruins of the life I'd known, and I realized nothing could ever go back to what it was. My family would never understand. The sun would never warm my face again. My humanity was gone, but so was my loneliness. Adrian pulled back just enough to look into my eyes. "Eternity is long," he murmured. "Longer than you can imagine. There will be nights of hunger, nights of pain. But if you stay by me," his voice cracked, "if you don't hate me, I swear I'll spend forever protecting your heart." I pressed my forehead to his, the truth ringing through me like a vow. "You don't need to protect it anymore. You already own it, for the first time." His lips curved into something like a real smile. The hunger inside me pulsed, sharp and dangerous, but so did the love. And I understood then it wasn't about light or darkness, mortality or immortality. It was about the choice we'd made to love, even when it destroyed everything else. As the night stretched wide and endless before us, Adrian laced his fingers with mine. Together, we stepped out into the dark world waiting. Eternity didn't scare me anymore, because eternity was his.